you're dumb, wrong, and also you're just being shitty. I don't care. But once you immediately bring up how disabled you are, I don't necessarily.
Oh, that's such a funny thing.
I guess that's a win for you, you fucking loser.
Yeah.
But also,
that's like I get annoyed.
Don't at me, bruh.
You know what's fun? Here, let's hop into Drag the Lake.
I thought that was. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Drag the Lake. This is Pat George. I'm here to say I want to comment positively on how well I love all of you.
Yeah. We didn't do a pre-show talking about comments.
Nope.
No, you were saying before because we don't have to go into it fully, but there was a shitty comment on one of the reels and TikToks I posted recently where basically the synopsis is someone started the dance and then didn't want to finish the dance.
Yeah.
And then they throw out this whole thing of like, here's all the reasons why you're a big bully for attacking little old me. And you made a good point too where you're like, we're also fucking no one.
Yeah,
so it's not like we're fucking Joe Rogan.
I'm not from my Iron Throne. I'll show you, peasant.
But then I also laugh too on the flip side of that. There's a lot of I don't know. I get mixed about this. I like to talk about because like we're both on here being critics of music and shit like that. And I do like.
But from if I may,
yeah,
from a fan perspective,
yeah.
Like anytime I like we've talked about this so much. Every time we say something shitty about it, unless it's something that we really know is never going to actually get to them, like something like Taylor Swift or something like that.
Or if you mean it deep down.
If I really do, this is my real take. But like overall, I'm not going to say that Taylor Swift's not a great artist. Like she fucking makes hit songs. I'm not denying the success, but to me, it's always from a fan perspective of, as a fan of Green Day, like we're going to talk about, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You already did talk about it. I didn't realize you made a video about it.
That is a new thing I want to do just to sort of take advantage of the immediacy of it happening.
Yeah.
But I've been doing more quick little videos in a more current event sort of manner. But at the same time, I always love to hear your perspective on things. So,
but like
I have mentioned some shit that has been on the YouTube channel, but we will still go through it in a different way.
But like the Green Day thing where it's like it's a situation where as a fan, this is my take. Like this is like how I would feel as somebody who likes the band, who has something positive to say, but also as like somebody who is the demo for this product.
To give a quick rundown of the Green Day thing. Yeah, let's just hop right into it.
Yeah.
To give a quick rundown of the Green Day thing, they posted this thing last week where...
What did they call it?
Was Dookie D...
Deplatformed or D something?
No, Dookie... I have Dookie in my butt.
Dookie, Pookie.
Sorry, guys.
Was it a DM? Did I DM that too?
Dookie Demastered.
Demastered, that's what it was.
So I saw this posted last week. I posted a short little video going through it last week. So you can watch... If you want to see all the shit that was in there, you can either look it up or go watch the video. But basically, to celebrate, I think it's like 30 years of Dookie.
Yeah.
Green Day is doing a whole Dookie Demastered, which on its face, I was like, this is such a fucking lame money grab. But then you go through it, and they sold it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Where they were like shitting on it the whole time. They were like, the thing that no one asked for, making everything worse. So basically what they're doing is they're taking songs from Dookie and they're republishing it on old platforms that not even just like, vinyl. It's like, no, it's old inconvenient platforms.
One of it's like is a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
Like a Game Boy game cartridge.
Yeah.
Is one song.
Yeah.
Another one was like
a piano roll.
Billy Bass, Big Billy Bass.
That was Basket Case, I think.
That's like certain things where you're like, dude, this is so I go back and forth. People go like, is it money grab wise? Is it this? Is it that? I feel like aside from it being kind of impractical, I don't think this is. I wouldn't even put this at like Kiss level money grab.
I don't think
this
it's
is
a
a
money
cool
grab.
fucking idea.
Yeah, I don't think.
I love this idea. I hate vinyl, but I love the fact that you can buy one song on a Game Boy cartridge.
Things,
a Teddy Ruxpin was another one.
Two things that make it not a money grab to me and make me love it. One, it's hilarious. They put out like they're selling it on an old school Nintendo game, but like. The only way to use it is you have to go find
a Nintendo,
a PlayStation. Jesus Christ! You have to go find a Game Boy.
Yeah,
and they have the wax cylinder was my favorite.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, you have to go find like an ancient fucking record playing device or whatever, or
perfect.
audio playing device. And I go, so it's hilarious. And then when you actually look at it, when you go to so the interesting part was, and I think just by the sheer type of products they were, it was probably like hard to mass produce these. So they did a what would the term be? You have to basically like a lottery system. So you had the opportunity to get in a lottery, and then if you won it, you got it. Now I will say this: I didn't double check on this. If you have to pay to get into the lottery, that kind of sucks ass.
Kind of a GoFundMe though, because this is going to be it's a weird thing that like you're right. There's probably a limited number to each one of these things that they can make, or at least because I doubt it's it looks like it, but I doubt it's an actual Teddy Ruxpin.
No, it's because I think if you actually looked at the website, they spelled it differently to like not do copyright infringement.
Right. So like it's like something they're like, hey, can you just make it kind of look like it, but also just do it like this? So there's probably at this point you can get a secondhand distributor to make these things. Well,
yeah, we got confirmation. It's like shoes. You attach card information, you get picked, and then it charges your card. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I thought that because like the prices are. The prices are different for everything. Oh, and that was the other.
Also, I get my shoes at Target. It's nothing like shoes with me, sir. Nothing.
It's slightly for me because when I buy my shoes, I also get lottery tickets.
Yeah. Also, I pull out a card and I go, let's see if this one works. Whee!
That's your lottery. Let's see if my credit card works.
I use my credit cards like gift cards. People go, I don't know how much is on this one. Whee!
But no, I saw that. So that was the other part of it. The prices on it were pretty reasonable. Like,
dude, the Singing Fish is sick.
Even bands I like, where you're all like Run the Jewels. Whenever they put out shit, you're like, yes, I love it.
I'm so glad
American. And you're like, yes, I love the fact that you're making these in America and giving American jobs. Also, it sucks ass that your shirts are like $50.
I'm glad you brought up Run the Jewels, because I believe, I don't know if it's them or not, but somebody, I think either Killer Mike or Run the Jewels or some kind of group that they're involved with just put out their latest album on cassette.
I have Run the Jewels 3 on cassette.
I think this one is exclusively on cassette. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody just recently, a rapper that put out, and I was just like, damn, I love that, because Refuse had that for when they came back and they had their new album that came out.
Yeah.
It came out, I think it was, damn, I can't remember the name of the fucking album. Elektra, I think. But no, that might just be the single. But they also had it available on cassette.
Yeah.
I bought it, and then I was just like, cool.
Can you release it on digital now?
Yeah, can I just have the... Can I get a digital copy with it?
The reason... Yeah, I like cool merch, but also, like, can you also do the thing we're used to so my life isn't inconvenience? No, Run the Jewels did do that back when they were touring. I don't know if they've done it again since, but back when they were touring Run the Jewels 3... I went to go get merch, and I already had like plenty of shirts, and I didn't feel like balling out on a fucking t-shirt. Yeah. But the cassettes were like $10. I go, that's. I'll do that. I'll do a $10 Run the Jewels cassette. That's just. Now I don't know where the fuck it is, but I have it, and it's just like a cool little thing. Like those to me are just like higher level Funko Pops, because I'm not gonna use it, but it is a fun thing to go like, look at what I have.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
You trying to figure out the rapper?
Well, I just want to, like, it was somebody that was just like, really? And I guess if it was Killer Mike, it probably doesn't make too much.
No,
Yeah.
I know it wasn't Killer Mike. I know he was doing the standard like digital CD vinyl release of his album.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Michael. But what I was saying before is the two things that make this not a money grab to me. Actually, three things. Is one, it's very funny. Two, all the items are pretty clever and unique. And three, all the prices on everything weren't insane. Like the most expensive thing was the Teddy Ruxpin, and I got to be honest, like a custom one of a kind Green Day Teddy Ruxpin that plays a song. Spend $100 on that, like if you actually give a shit. But like a lot of the other things, like the Game Boy game was like $20. There was a piano roll,
and I'm sure there's more like the songs on there, but I'm sure they put a little mini game in there. Or they did something to it. It's not just there's probably other things that the Teddy Ruxpin can do or something like that. You know, like there's probably more to it. They don't seem like a band that would just be like shorting their fans. It is a very interesting and very unique way because they probably don't have any more behind the scenes footage or B-sides or whatever to share anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, it's been fucking 40 years or whatever.
It's just I appreciate it too. One, because Green Day has just been, like we've talked about the music they put out. They've been doing some stinkers. You know, they've been whatever. And so to see them do that was always the great thing about listening to Green Day.
Yeah.
They had good songs and they were like a funny band to observe. Yeah. And so like seeing them, this has like old school Green Day energy to me. So I really enjoy that. And it's to me too, it's the perfect balance of, it's like, we know what this is. You're putting out merch so you can make some money off the fact that Dookie's 30 years old. Now, the flip side of that is like, give me some interesting merch that's like a cool addition to my collection. Yeah. That is interesting. That is unique. It's not just like, oh, look, you know how those songs are really well made? What if they sounded shitty? Yeah. And we're just going to re-release those on a vinyl, and you're going to pay $30 for that.
But it's a Sunburst vinyl.
Yeah.
A limited 300.
Which, by the way, when you... I don't know, the people... Tonye might find this controversial because he's a big vinyl guy, but just the whole fact that they're like, oh, this one looks like this, and this one... I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not a vinyl guy. The way the vinyl look doesn't do anything for me.
To me, I'm almost the exact opposite of a vinyl guy. I couldn't care less about it. As far as I get it, I get the and I understand
like the experience of listening.
Yeah, like I get what everybody's saying, but I also really just like a couple of noise canceling earbuds. Yeah. And I like going for a nice walk. Yeah. I don't like necessarily sitting in a room like a fucking heroin addict and just going like, this is kind of scratchy.
The thing that appeals to me as a heroin addict, the thing that appeals to me about vinyl is, I was saying it before on the episode of No More Heroes, why I like that you did the whole, you had notes and everything, is because like I'm a guy who's all over the place. Yeah. I'm looking for an excuse to get distracted and whatever. So, like, the experience of vinyl seems optimal for me when I really want to, like, sit. Because the only time I really, like, get into music like that is when I'm driving. Like, I'm not just, like, here with my headphones in, sitting, like, oh, wow.
Yes, you are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no. With headphones going...
Oh, yeah, just coughing too much.
In a room by yourself.
Yeah. That's happening. I'm often in here with headphones coughing. No, but I'm not just like sitting here enjoying the music, just like, no. So like when I have that type of listening experience, it's in the car. Yeah. So I could see that benefit of vinyl. And also on top of it, it's funny. I got reminded of this when I got back into like playing card games and stuff. I go, oh yeah, I like collecting things.
Yeah, you know what I like? I'd like a nice 5 CD disc changer, baby. And a couple of sweet ass like 12-inch speakers that I can put on next to my TV, but not too close because the magnets will fuck up the picture.
Sorry, this comment's really funny. I had to join the lottery. This is back to the shoe thing he said. I had to join the lottery to get my Lightning McQueen cross.
I know, I laughed at that. I was just like, I was one of those things where like,
that's a man who, I respect that. That's a man who knows who he is.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I like the extra stuff that comes with a vinyl, extra posters, art, or some random shit.
Yeah, I just I don't hang.
I'm not a big.
I don't hang those up. Like I don't hang up band posters as much.
Yeah,
As you know what I mean?
it's now that I'm like, once you get older and you like have a wife.
She doesn't want them in the living room. She doesn't want them. Like I asked her even in the studio. I was like, do we just hang them up in there? And she's like, and a couple of them she likes, like the framed ones that are this. But like even those, a lot of times I won't put those up because those are also collector's items. That came with that other collector's item. And then you don't play like. So it kind of comes down to I started collecting comics a little bit. Probably.
Comics?
Like, huh?
You do comics?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, I did for a little bit. But I ended up selling a lot of them.
You got really defensive.
No.
I was excited to have a new thing to relate to you on.
No. I would like read the graphic novels, and it really was only Walking Dead. When Walking Dead came out, I really liked that comic.
Yeah.
And then the show came out, and then I was like, well, there's pictures now. I don't need these pictures. They move. And then and literally I just I gave up on comics. I sold most of my comics, and I was just like, all right, I don't read anymore.
Did you have like original pressings of Walking Dead?
I had all the variants of the 100, the issue 100. And it was like all the variants.
Yeah.
And I ended up selling a lot.
That bringing it back to Run the Jewels and cool merch, variant covers almost got me into comics a while ago.
Variant covers are a money grab.
Oh, 100.
That is absolutely a money
grab. Variant covers in comics literally almost killed the business in the 90s.
Comics let me down because when I found out, I was just like, it's just different. I said it's the same comic, and they're like, yeah, it's just different covers.
So what they started doing, and
why are they $75 a piece?
This is just off of me watching YouTube videos, but it was super interesting because what they did, and they actually were fucking up timelines of stories. Because like comics for a while would just be like the same way manga is. It's just like this is one long book, one long story, and then they started and then old comics started selling for really high prices.
Right.
So then that incentivized them to put out new #1 issues. And then on top of that, that's when they started throwing in variants. And dude, there would be comics which would have like 10 variant covers.
And that's the thing is like
it's not special anymore.
It's not. And that was the thing that really pissed me off. I found out it was 10 of the same, one or whatever, and I was just like, okay, well then fuck this. Like I got into reading comics, I think for the right reasons, because I actually was a fan of the story and I loved the thing. But I got into collecting comics for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And it was a thing where at a certain point I was like, I didn't even read. I would just buy all of the issues.
Yeah.
And then I would just buy the trade paperbacks as it would go. But I would buy other ones as well because I'm like, I've heard of Spider-Man. Sure, I'll subscribe to this one. And I would just save them. And I would just be like, what am I doing? I didn't like it as much because I didn't have them on display.
Yeah.
The only ones I read were the trade paperbacks, and I think I actually even kept those. I don't even sell those because I was like, you don't get it wasn't enough to sell them.
Yeah, I think it's the individual issues that because
right
they don't stop reproducing the trade paperbacks.
Right, and that was the thing. Oh, I got an issue, a first one, but it was like on comic book day. It's like okay, so this is just a free comic. Well, the first issue means nothing except for. Are you introducing a new? Nope, it's the same characters you knew, but it's just now they live in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
You're like, whoa, Justice League Cincinnati? Weird.
I would do that theoretically if I was more actively into comics, but like I'm so behind on comic book shit that like you see them over there. All I get is the issues where it's like, here's like 20 issues in one book.
Yeah. What is Mind Cuff?
What?
Mind Conf? What is that?
Oh, it's just it's like a comic, but it doesn't have pictures, and it just has like some cool
the liberal hoax.
It just has like some cool fucking shit, just like a different way to think about things.
Anarchist. What is cook?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know they cooked.
Yeah, you can. You can cook, and sometimes.
How do they do a jalapeno popper?
Well, first you get a pot, and then you go into a government building.
The graphic novel. It's a very graphic novel. Mein Kampf is the most graphic novel.
there was
But I think those things, like those money grab things, those are collectible things, and those are when it's music. Aside from vinyl, to me. I don't mind I like a band like Refused. for the 25th anniversary of The Shape of Punk to Come is celebrating by re-releasing the album, but as recorded by fans of the album. So
that's really cool.
Bands are I think.
Oh, we talked about that. Yeah, Touche Amore's doing a song,
right? So there's a couple different
which
bands.
they just put out an album. Check out my review.
Didn't you just see them?
No.
Who is that?
Oh, I gotta talk about that.
Yeah.
I just randomly saw Enter Chicago. I forgot about that.
It's
yeah.
a different name. I knew it was a weird name, but but the same idea of where that's cool because I mean at this point, even before they got back together, Refused was putting out special edition anniversary editions of Shape of Punk to Come because that's the only way they were continuing to make money off the band.
Yeah,
and so
dude,
I just feel like there's a way that you can show the fans of this album, like the fans that were fans probably 30 years ago, are the ones that are going to be excited about the Teddy Ruxpin and all this other stuff. New fans of Green Day may like this album, but they're not going to get the appreciation necessary. And then maybe they will.
You know what's funny?
They probably have cool parents.
Well, you know what's funny? I was thinking about with the Green Day shit, like there's some of the shit that they're putting out that's like so old. Like piano rolls are from the 1800s. The wax cylinders are from the 1800s. And that shit's like so old that it's like no one who's a fan of Green Day obviously grew up with that shit. So that's just shit you know because you know stuff.
Yeah.
So like there could be young fans that know about that shit, but there was little shit like... And I'm sure young fans, they know about Game Boys and shit. Yeah. But the one was, I forget the name of it, but there was the one where it was like...
Was it the Tamagotchi?
There was like the Tamagotchi type thing where you just plug in the little plastic thing and there's like one song on it.
Oh, yeah.
That one was cool to me because I go, young fans are going to look at that.
Dude, that was shitty when we were young.
Well, that was the funniest part. When we were young and those came out, you're like... We all have MP3 players that can have at least like 50 songs on them. Like, this is stupid. Why would you do this? But like that one to me, like I can even see the young kids knowing what like an 8-track player is because that's kind of becoming historical.
Yeah.
Sorry if there's any old listeners out there. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll get there soon enough. But like the little one song single thing, I go, oh, that's not in the time frame of being like a historical item, and it wasn't even like that popular, so it's like they literally are just gonna go, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, so those ones were really cool to me.
Yeah, I feel like there's certain like ways that you can show appreciation, and I think that's one of those things. I think vinyl's kind of lazy, but also it's not. It's appreciated by who it's appreciated by.
I just think with the vinyl thing, it's like put out the regular black vinyl, then do like 3 color vinyls,
but mixed in randomly,
and then
like a Willy Wonka,
and then you could do like a sparkle vinyl or whatever. But it's just like when you re-release the album, because it's like I've seen videos on how they make vinyl. It's just like they just buy the blue goop. And it's like it's not an extra special thing that it's on the initial run of the vinyl. Yeah, put out 1 million type of vinyls and you can buy whichever one you want. When it's on the re-release and your selling point is like, we now have sparkle vinyls. You're like, yeah, you could do that whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, is there anything else different about it? No.
No, it's just a re-release.
Same thing.
And I got to be honest,
the cover different? Nah.
I got to be honest, too. There is occasionally when this is better, but, like, the remastering, that also is usually a money grab.
Yeah, I
like the
I feel like I've heard it, but it's like I've heard the difference between the original, like, 1970 version and now.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't necessarily hear the 97 version, the 87 version.
When they take something that was mono, like that's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing when I try to get into jazz ever. Because I did jazz band in high school and college, so I still like to listen to it occasionally. But when you're like trying to get into the old shit and you pop your headphones on and it's in mono, it's like, I get it, whatever. This is the most, but it's like, can the drums be in both ears? This is so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So when they re-release shit from mono to stereo, this might be sacrilege for some, but I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I want the fucking I want the shit in
I want
both
the
ears.
fullest sound.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to work for it.
But
so
like
much.
what you said, when it's like, yeah, do you really need to remaster the 97 version?
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't need to do that.
And certain ones where like, that's what I would want. So if it is demastered,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind, because I'm sure Dookie has had re-editions multiple times, probably a couple different versions, deluxe, remastered version, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
If you could remaster it back to what it was, that would be cool. Release it that way. Release that vinyl.
Well, the demastered was very funny too, because it was like, I was like, oh, this sounds bad.
One of it was like 8-bit too. Like it was like straight up like video game. It wasn't even, there's no lyrics. It was just noises.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I tried so fucking hard. There used to be a way you could create your own ringtones.
I
shit
think
like that.
you could still do it.
I tried to figure it out. But there was the last album that Propagandhi put out, Victory Lap.
Yeah.
There is a full 8-bit version of the entire album available on YouTube.
That's really
And
funny.
I tried so hard to I was just like, it sounds so fucking cool.
Really?
Yeah, it just sounds like, I'm like, I know all the songs already.
Oh, that's fun.
And they did a really fucking good job with it.
I don't usually care for the 8-bit version of shit.
I'm so interested in that because I don't know how to create that music. I don't know, like, is it a MIDI?
Yeah.
Like, literally that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just using like a. It's using.
Then, dude, they did a great job.
It's like a MIDI setting.
They did an incredible, because like they put the layers to it. The layers to this 8-bit album.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Is I guess if you put it down to a video game version, like the game, that's what caught my eye.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of a joke. You said they did the lyrics?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. That's what I'm saying is you can't. So it was just the 8-bit. So it's basically a instrumental version of it. But
Yeah. Oh, my bad joke was I was reading the comment. He said, I miss going to the Virgin store at the mall. I can't tell you what that's like.
Hot Topic.
No, I'm just.
Is that the Virgin store? Hot
So
Topic?
much fucking pussy, dude.
Spencer's? Was that the Virgin store? Dude, FYE.
No, Spencer's is the Virgin
Specs.
store.
Went to Specs Music a lot of times.
Specs Music?
Yeah.
You didn't say it that way in Florida, though.
No.
Called
it Wetbacks. Is that what you were saying?
We're keeping it in.
That's not a bad one. Is that a bad one?
I mean, Carlos Mencia said it all the time.
It's not a hate crime.
And he's German.
And yeah, you know he's German.
Yeah, if Ned can say it, you can say it.
He's German and Venezuelan, you know.
Fuck, that's funny. That's
Which,
so
by the
funny.
way, is he... Oh, my God. Where did they go after World War II? Argentina, Venezuela, South America. Is he... Bro.
Well, yeah,
Bro.
Not to get into Nomo talk, but that is another thing where it's like... There's all these like random German communities in like South America and shit.
Yeah. Oh, he's Mexican. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows
Okay,
that. He knows there was no harm done.
For people watching and listening later, there's a Mexican in the chat
Signed
and he
off.
approves.
Signed off. It's on the screen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Black people give you an N-word pass. Mexicans
Also,
give you
get the fuck out. Not literally. Please don't.
Also, build my deck and get the fuck out.
Please don't get out. Please stay.
That's great. We got the WB pass. That's so funny.
Yeah. I won't say it again. That was the first one. You got to get the impact.
Funny thing about that?
What was the thing you did cut it? Oh, never mind. I can't say it.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was a hard.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
I honestly, can I tell you honestly, I didn't think it would get that much of a reaction.
It was okay, for
was a
people
bad
who
one.
don't know,
It's a
when
bad
we
one.
were doing the and we should bring these back, by the way, the full
Oh, yeah.
album reactions.
I forgot. That wasn't even live.
Yeah, we were thank God. Yeah, thank
Holy
fucking
shit.
God. No, but it was just like the top, like on here,
Yeah.
we're like, it's conversational.
We have a
It's a
good
little
time.
more fast and loose.
Loosey-goosey.
We're always being offensive on here.
I didn't
so-
plan on saying that. It just came out.
But like we were doing we were doing full album reactions for the Every Time I Die albums, and it was like a thing to try to get like new people into the pod. And and I'll give Pat so much. It was a very funny joke,
Right. But it was bad.
He just hit a hard K.
Hard K. the Jewish K.
He hit a hard Jewish K, and I was like, Pat, great joke. Cannot
Gotta
be
go.
vetted.
See ya.
Dude, and it was within
I wanted to clip it.
it was in like the first 2 minutes,
Yeah, it was
too.
pretty. It was like, yeah, didn't we just restart?
It was like, maybe.
I think it was something like that where you're like, yeah, we can't stay that.
Yeah, we just gotta not do that.
So yeah, I
It
did.
was so fucking
The
funny.
WB, that's a little softer.
WB, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Mexicans are the most.
They love it.
Mexicans
They'll let you do it.
They love being made fun of. They're the homies.
Some of the best crowd work.
Yeah.
I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Demastering.
Demastering. No, I think we went through it. There's another thing. So I had I went to a surprise concert that I wasn't planning on, but there's actually a quick topic I want to get to, and then we can sort of end on the concert I went to. But this was another video I posted, and I noticed there's a new grift going on Spotify.
Oh.
So you remember like back in the day, there was the bands that figured out like, oh, I'll just put up an album with no song, like no music.
Yeah.
And I'll have my fans just listen to it over and over again.
Big fan of that. You play it on repeat, and the band gets so much monetization.
Very
from
clever.
It. So strong.
I'm a
so
huge
smart.
proponent of it. Super.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, Spotify now catches that like right away.
Yeah.
But back in the day, big fan of that. Huge proponent. So there's like been ever since then. There's been constant little grifts that people try to do on Spotify, and I noticed a new one is people use bands to sneak in sleep sound albums.
What do you mean?
So like you listen to an album, it'll either be like rain or nature sounds or like ambiance where it'll be like
Do you use that at all?
So what?
Do you use those?
I'm just a fan guy. I'm a.
This is my jam.
Yeah, but on Spotify, it's more so like when they use like the ambiance with like synth and shit like that. I'm more of a box fan kind of guy.
Yeah,
I go old school with it, but
classic white noise guy.
Yeah, I mainly stick to white noise.
I like white noise.
White noise.
I'd like to speak to the manager and also fans and some beach. Maybe a seagull.
Yeah, dude. In the middle of my white noise album, it's just a Klan rally and then a Karen.
It's just not what I thought it was when I ordered it. So if I could I'll pay for it, I guess. But
is there any way?
Noise.
Can I get a version with just German speeches on it?
Super white noise.
But no, I noticed this because every week when I do, I look at the new music and I make the best, the tracks that ripped from last week, which go check that out on this channel as well. Every week I listen to all the music that came out and I let you know which specific tracks ripped from the previous week. And so in doing that, I go on YouTube.
I'm not in those videos, by the way, if you're commenting. Go ahead. Sorry.
I slipped a YouTube video, World War I trench sounds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
God damn. You must miss it. You're probably
I'm questioning that past now.
He's a reincarnated fucking French soldier.
He's Clint Eastwood from fucking what is that called? The
Gran Torino.
I almost said El Dorito.
Oh, speaking of cutting out hard Ks, that was one of my favorite games. You ever Gran Torino? It's just like, listen here, you, and then you just say 3 slurs.
Yeah, you pick an article of clothing, and then zippers.
You say 3 slurs, you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
because like Gran Torino is such a good movie, but it really feels like Clint Eastwood was like, all right, how can I just say every slur? Because he does deep cuts on slurs.
He directs that too.
Yeah,
like he's the one that's like, so are we good? Do we got that? He's like, no, one more take.
No,
keep rolling.
No, I didn't say the G strong
and
enough.
I don't like them in my neighborhood either. And you're like, wait, is this wasn't in the script?
Clint, we haven't started filming.
Yeah,
I'm warming up.
Warming up.
But no, so yeah, I follow all these record labels on YouTube. I follow a bunch of bands on Spotify. I see what the new bands are, and I kind of saw it happen once, but it didn't register too hard for me because I was like, there's a lot of bands with a lot of names. Like, that's why Kubla Khan's called Kubla Khan TX. There was another Kubla Khan. They were like, hey, we're going to fucking sue you. And they were like, well, we don't give a shit. We're just going to call ourselves Kubla Khan TX.
Right. That's
and then
why we're
gonna
Drag the Lake TX.
Yeah, and then we're going to be the bigger Kubla Khan and shit like that. So it didn't register. And then this past week, I'm listening to all the... And then I see these, like, 2 bands who just put out albums. Oceano and I believe Movements. And I go... They just put out albums a couple months ago, and I look on and I go, oh, this is the new fucking grift. Is they find these bands, because if you think about it, like if you're doing ambient sleep sounds, Oceano kind of makes sense as like a random band name.
Feels like that, like a grandma could stumble on that when she's searching for white noise.
Yeah, or Movements could be like that. And their
Movement sounds like my fucking bathroom room.
Fucking got 'em. And then so that is like the new grift, and I think they're targeting smaller bands, so like people don't notice it. And the big question for me though is like, why does Spotify not have a process where you make it clear, I'm this entity. This is my band name. We've put out a couple songs. Like, it would make sense if, like, dude, if you put one album out in 2018 and never did anything else, you don't get to claim that band name. But if you, like, I have a catalog of albums, how am I not the official release?
Dude, that did happen to me, too. Fuck, what band was that? Somebody, like, it was like, I checked my new music or whatever. I think it was All. It was crazy. It was
really?
Like, yeah, it was like some techno shit. Let me check. It was like something recently on Spotify that I was like, I follow, or fuck, who was it? It was somebody recently where I was just like, that's not who that is.
Yeah, and I'll give Spotify a little bit of credit, because if I double check, so I put out this video last week, and that Oceano album that I was talking about, it's not up there anymore.
Yeah,
so Spotify does clearly, and I don't believe the Movements album is up there anymore. Spotify does clearly have a process to take these down.
I think they fixed it, yeah.
But I do find it kind of interesting that it doesn't seem like there's a clear process to like claim your band name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like once you're that band and you've established a clear catalog of music, you're that band now.
Yeah.
Someone has to come in and be like, oh, you want to be Oceano? Then be Oceano India. That's where I'm assuming this is happening.
I think overall, I can't find it. So they must have taken that one down too. But it was like some band, and it happened with Zeke. The band Zeke, I started following, and I was getting this thing, and I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? And like, remember I was telling you sometimes when you go to the artist page, even the artist, like the picture is correct, but then you start playing some of their singles or their releases, and it's like, I'm like, that's not them. That's like some fucking weird. And I was like, wait, did Zeke just fucking completely change their sound?
Yeah.
And then I was like, there's no way they went from here to here.
Oh, dude, you know who else?
And they're still dressing in like fucking cut off like leather and shit. Like, what are you talking about?
Dude, you know who it recently happened with too? Is fucking Jesus Piece.
Maybe it was Jesus Piece.
I was so mad because I got so excited for new Jesus Piece. I was like, are they doing a surprise album?
That might have been it.
And you clicked on it, and yeah, it might have been Jesus Piece because it was like bullshit techno music.
Yeah, no, that was it. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they fuck. And that's the thing. So that's a huge flaw as far as Spotify. But there is a thing that I wanted to bring up that I didn't realize you could do on Spotify. But it was like, because they have lots of like fucked up things like that, where it's like a band that you actually love or you follow that you really like, that you get excited when something, and because they announce it the same way. It's on that artist's page.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing this a little while back. Got to go through some of my recipes. Found out how to make homemade Choco Tacos. That was pretty cool. Check this out. So we could probably you can play Snake on Spotify.
Press eat this playlist. I just found out that you can play Snake on Spotify. So from the home screen of the playlist, you press on the 3 dots and you scroll down and press eat this playlist. Then you're basically this little arrow and you get to scroll around eating the playlist. It's a fun little way to listen to all the songs.
And then it changes the song.
While you're sitting in the car as well. Go check it out.
That rules.
For some reason, when you were talking about that huge mistake, and I noticed that same thing, I was just like, man, what the fuck's going on with Spotify? But then I was like, I stumbled on that clip the other day when I was looking through my saved shit, and there's like a little fun game that you can play through Spotify that's like, I've never heard them talk about at all. And it's where you're going through your playlist anyway, but as you go, you capture like a little arrow, and as you capture the album cover, you switch the song to another song. So it's playing all the shit that you already wanted to listen to anyway, whatever playlist, but you're doing that as well. So at least when you're listening to inspirational techno from whatever that Jesus piece is, or I wonder sometimes if they're just accidentally loading it on the wrong thing. Because was there a techno band that was playing that's called Jesus Piece?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's such a weird thing that they would have.
Yeah.
That like, I don't understand how shit like that gets through. So you got to think it's probably Apple Music, then Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Or they're very close to each other.
Yeah.
Like, how does something that big happen this often? Or is it just with like, quote, lesser known bands?
I think it's with I think it's got to happen. I can't imagine it's happening to like Ariana Grande or Post Malone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's happening. I wonder if there's a process backstage on Spotify where like the bigger artists are able to be more on top of it. Maybe like the more mid-range artists where it's like a lot of the bands we talked about where it's like Jesus Piece, Oceano, Movements. They're probably making an okay living off their band, but it's not making them rich.
Yeah.
One of those situations. So it's probably those smaller bands that don't have a huge team that aren't necessary, because it's like you're just like on those smaller bands you're in it for the music, you know, you're dealing with a lot of the business shit that you don't give a fuck about, but it's just a part of the game, so you're dealing with it and shit like that. So it's probably just a thing where it's like when you're rich and you have a bunch of lawyers and you can figure out all the like tax code and shit like that, but when you're just a normal person, you don't have those resources. So you can't take advantage of, you know, like crazy tax breaks. Now, I guess, you know, rich people have better tax breaks, but
maybe they
You
should
get what
spend
I'm
a little
saying.
less time designing little fun games and a little bit more time paying attention to your books.
yeah, like I said, Spotify, I will give them credit. They do fix the situation in a timely manner. Like this was last week, and now
I'm pretty sure it was Jesus.
all
It
those
had to have
albums.
been.
Yeah,
Because I remember being very excited and being
yeah,
like, what
all
the
those
fuck is this?
albums are it has been rectified, I believe, on all those bands. But
Ew.
it's just weird to me that it happens at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
so-
it's kind of like I hate to put it this way, not to mention Karen's again, but it's kind of unacceptable. It's kind of like, why are you? How does it get uploaded? I know that you are.
Yeah.
You're not doing
No,
this
I agree.
last minute.
I
You're
agree.
scheduling this shit.
It's weird that it gets uploaded.
Nobody double check this.
There's no filtering process that goes like, oh, your Jesus Piece and your IP's in Japan or whatever the fuck, wherever they're uploading
This is
it.
a completely different thing than this music.
Yeah.
And also, the album art you gave us is completely different people.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's the point. If like the only thing you're supposed to do is to upload artists' music and to make sure those artists get paid and shit and podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Content. That's your business.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not doing that right, stop the extracurriculars and get your fucking business together.
Yeah.
Because it is,
No,
it's a little annoying, but also, look, that artist released it on that day. They told their fans to check it out, and they went to their fucking Spotify
No, I
page
think that's
and
a
said,
good.
what the fuck?
I think that's a good way to put
Jesus
it.
Pieces fans are going, what the fuck are you guys doing? What the fuck is this
I think
shit?
that's a good way to put it, where you're like, it is a small thing that gets fixed very quickly, but the fact that it's happening is kind of nuts.
It's completely avoidable.
Yeah.
It is, like, as two people that upload podcasts on a regular basis, bro, it's totally avoidable. And we're only doing one. I'm sure they're parsing it out correctly, and I'm sure they're having maybe one person is overloaded at the fucking switchboard at Spotify, going, "Oh god, this guy wants fucking Madonna. This guy fucking wants." You know what I mean? Like, or maybe you actually have it planned out, and you can just upload it like goddamn adults because it's the thing you do.
Well, it's just
it's
weird.
the thing you do.
It's weird that it's getting uploaded specifically to that artist, because you think about it, like, I do.
Do they not have to approve it? Does, like Jesus Piece not have to go like, yeah, that's us, go for it.
But I'm thinking about it with like you said, you brought up the podcast thing. You and me upload multiple podcasts every week. I do this podcast and No More Heroes through the free Spotify app, which thank you very much. You guys let us host podcasts for free. It's very cool. But like, and I believe if someone came in, I mean, don't do this, but if someone came in and set up like another podcast and decided to call it Drag the Lake, they could set that up. But it's not getting uploaded to our feed.
I would hope not.
No.
But what if, like, that's what I'm saying. But if they do, they go, oops.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they take
stop.
Yeah, you're like,
stop doing that.
It's kind of crazy it's happening at all.
It's like, do you remember Shanice? Do you remember before I moved? Do you remember that bitch? Shanice that was added to my Progressive account?
Yeah.
They just added somebody to my Progressive policy. And I at one point, they go, we sent emails. Hey, how about you just wait for me to go, yes.
How about you wait for me to approve it? It's crazy
no
she
matter
got
what,
added to it.
Wait as long. Trust me, guys. You're getting paid by the hour. Just take the payment and just continue to ask me for all eternity. Don't ever add Shanice until I've said yes.
Yeah, good rule of thumb. Always double check with me
Right.
if you add someone to my policy.
So if they're doing that to me and they're just going, well, let's just see if he'll pay 3 times what he always pays. And not notice it, or the same thing with Jesus Piece. They're just going to go, well, it's probably this one. Like, is it? Can you just double check? Is it?
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's the only thing you do. Again, we also upload things to your platform, and we can do it. If you guys need somebody for the job, we're happy to do it, because guess what? We're really good at it. You can look at our track record. How many times have we had to re-upload stuff?
We're pretty
very
sick
rarely.
I gotta be honest.
Unless I'm dropping a hard K.
Well, that was you too. But I gotta be honest. I don't know if we're good at a lot, but we're damn good at uploading
At
stuff.
going, yup, this is the correct thing to upload this thing to. And so if you need help, we're happy to help. We're here to help. Spotify, consider this our resume.
So that's so funny. So let's talk about.
Yes, that's Dolly Parton.
I mean,
Enter. We just did that.
Bro, that was one. Do it again.
Watch. Who's this now? Oh, Willie Nelson. Got it. Greatest hits. There's only one of them.
Yeah.
Right? Wait, I'll double check. Yup. See?
Bro, he could do that all fucking day.
Boys to Men. Oh, is it a number 2? Or is it the word 2? Do you know what I'm saying?
Or is it the word duh?
Is it boys, duh, men?
Or ta, T-A.
The duh would be funny, though. Boys, duh, men.
Men.
Sorry, you were changing the stuff.
No, I'm sorry. No, bro.
If
the riff's good, riff.
Yeah.
So the last thing I wanted to bring up, this was Pat went to a concert last week, and I ended up going to a concert last week.
I forgot there's ice in there. It's really loud.
Yeah, the big old. You know what? I don't know if I mentioned this. It's good hucking ice.
It's good hucking ice.
Listen to the new episode of Panties. Nate's a psychopath.
Brother, it's crazy that I knew exactly what that was when he said it. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, that fits right in the slingshot. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah, we could hit the 3 cars, fucking same fucking ball.
Yeah. So last week
into concerts.
I believe it was last Friday. I was doing. Mike Eaton had a show at the Creek. Mike Eaton and Friends. I was one of the and Friends, and I did my set. And then I walk out to like smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, or whatever. And I'm talking to some people, and another comedian, Molly, was there, and we're all talking. And I usually talk to Molly about music a lot because she's like into hardcore and shit like that. And then she was chilling there with her friend, and she's like, are you going to the show across the street? And I go, what's the show? And she goes, it's Enter Shikari.
It's one of your favorite bands.
And it's like, oh, it's actually one of your top 5 favorite bands.
Yeah. And
I go, wait, what? And then, so she was like, yeah, they're playing across the street. And I was like, well, I got to go to that. It was funny too, because it's like, it's so funny. There's a lot of things that I will like spend way too much time overthinking about. Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? And it'll be like minuscule things. Like I've literally stood in the beer aisle sometimes for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like, spoiler alert, it's going to be Miller Lite. But I stand there and look at it to go like, I don't know. Is this a Coors Light kind of night? It's like I've spent too much time. But then this one was like a very immediate decision. I just go, well, where's the show? I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
So I go over there. Oh, it was really funny, too, because I don't think I'm exposing Molly, but she told me this whole thing where she's like, yeah, tell him you work across the street and you'll get in for free. And I was like, I don't want that to come back on the creek.
But you literally do. You just worked across the street.
I guess so, but it wasn't like.
That's the same.
Yeah.
I'm not. They're not going to go like, well, let me see your pay stub.
Well, I'm
you
also.
know what I mean? Like you work there.
It's technically right, but whenever I'm in those situations, whenever like they ask a follow up question,
you just walk up.
I'm
and
always
just
just
go
like,
"Hey, do you have your check?" I'm cool. Molly said.
I actually work across the street, and they're like, "We never seen you here," and I'm like, "I'm a liar."
Yeah, I'm so sorry. You're right because I don't. I work here.
So I just said,
I work here now.
She's like telling me all that, and I'm like, cool. I'm gonna do none of that.
I'm just gonna buy a ticket.
I'm just gonna buy a ticket because I don't like.
We're cowards.
No, it's not even. I don't know if it's a coward. It's just like I don't like doing all that extra shit.
Like, yeah.
But
there's a couple times where like like in Austin, like we go to a place and kind of go like, for the most part. Most comedy clubs, especially, you go, I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
And they go like, okay. And you just like kind of, you're in. But it's like, but if one person was just like, okay, I would just go like, you're right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I go like, hey, I'm a comedian. And I go to walk past them, they go, okay, so
what else?
What are you here for? Are you working here tonight? I go like,
Yeah.
You got me.
You're like, you cut me off. I'm a comedian who's leaving.
I'm a comedian who was on his way out.
So yeah,
Do you know where the other place is?
I go in, pay for the ticket. A little more than I thought it should be.
Yeah. Especially for last minute.
Also,
I didn't even know you were here, motherfucker. Like
that's got to be a thing, by the way.
Right.
If someone
doing you a favor.
If someone shows up to the show, and the show is half over, I don't even. You don't even gotta charge me half price. You can just
start shaving it down.
Yeah, it's like, dude, the Enter Shikari was going on, so the show is half over.
You should at least charge $75.
It's not full price now.
No.
Yeah, so that should just be a thing.
So what was full price?
Especially if it's like a smaller venue. If it's like some fucking soulless Live Nation venue, that's one thing. But if it's just like. What?
And you're like going through your wallet. I work across the street.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Can you take cards?
Nothing.
Can I do
what
tap?
is it? I'll pay more than the price.
Can I do tap?
No. So that was pretty cool because the band's opening for them. I didn't know who they are. I gotta be honest. I don't.
At this point.
I don't normally care for bands I don't know, like in the live setting. I'm like whatever about it.
Oh wait, we talked about mine last time. I forgot. Wait, okay,
yeah.
I forgot about that. I was like, because I was just gonna say like, I'll tell you what, that opener I saw was a real doozy, but we already talked about it.
And so before I get into the actual band,
so
this was at Empire, cool venue. It's outside. It's starting to get a little bit. It's starting to get a little chiller out in Texas, temperature wise. So like outside show wasn't too bad.
I don't think though I realized I was outside. I thought that was more of a structure, but it's just a tent, isn't it?
It's just a tent. I mean, it is a structure, but whatever it is outside, you're standing in that.
Okay, yeah.
So I gotta say, it was fun. The weather was perfect that night, but I gotta be honest. If I was hitting a show at Empire in like fucking June, July, August.
I ain't paying full price unless you're giving me a fan.
Crazy. Yeah, that. So, but the venue was really good. Sound guy, we talk about this a lot. Remember
where was the bar?
What?
Where was the bar?
We're getting to it.
Okay.
I have the bar situation was good, but I have some complaints.
Okay.
Sound the whoever they're paying to do sound, top notch, brother. I was standing in the back. Couldn't even possibly consider putting earphones in. It was perfect.
Oh.
And then even later, they started playing some songs I like. I got up in the pit. In the pit, it was a little loud, but it wasn't overbearing.
Obviously, yeah.
It was like I hit every area of the venue.
Yeah.
Sound top fucking notch.
I love that.
So this transitions into bar. We just talked about last week the bar to stage ratio.
Yeah.
You want to know how many bars there were?
Huh.
2 bars. Bar up at the front, Bar in the back.
Whoa.
2 bars. So
they've done their research.
yeah, they've done their research. They've listened to the pod.
They know who works at the creek.
The bar does. If I told them, they would know.
Yeah. Bullshit, Andy.
Bullshit, Andy. Give us your W-9 or your W-2 or whatever.
What do you do there? Hang out.
You just start lying. You're like, I just steal stuff.
I manage the vibe.
You don't even do that. You're like, I steal things and I break chairs.
Yeah.
What? Huh? I don't even do that. Bar. I go. I do my tried and true. I go 1 shitty light beer.
Right.
$5.
Not bad.
Great price.
And it's a tall boy.
16-ouncer, baby.
Mamma mia.
$5 because that was
This might be the venue of the year.
That was my only complaint. That was my only complaint about Mohawk. It was like $9 tall boys,
yeah.
which is consistent for a lot of places in the city.
But
it's like, dude,
we're outside here.
This
guys.
is like a.
What are you paying for?
We're outside. This is kind of like a small venue. We're seeing fucking speed. Like $9 beers are kind of crazy.
Right.
$5 beers. So I go.
$5 beers, man.
$5 beers. I go to pay. The guy turns the machine around, and I'm looking for the tip option.
Yeah.
No tip option. I go, do you guys not accept tips? And then I look closer. 20% already included.
Each time you swipe?
Every time. Now,
like
here's
that.
my thing.
I don't know if I like that.
Here's my thing.
So what if I want to give you more than 20?
I'm doing 20 every single time. But it already being there, do not like that.
You're opening a can, friend.
I don't like, because
That's now you got that $5. You got that extra $5 back. You know what I'm saying? Like that. If that was a $9 beer,
yeah.
I mean, it's 20% is not, but 20%.
No, it only ended up being.
Can you open a tab?
You can open a tab.
Because then I'm thinking, I don't think they're going to give you 20% each time. Then they're going to give it to you once.
Yeah. What?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, it would be 20% on the whole order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what.
But
I would
no,
do.
geez, I got
Drink smarter, not.
I didn't know how much I was gonna drink, so I closed out every time. I ended up getting. I don't know how much I was gonna drink.
You didn't know how long Enter Shikari was going to play. Put it that way. You knew how much you were going to drink.
Fuck, that's funny.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, buddy. You know me, I know you. Okay, you knew exactly how much you were going to drink.
Goddamn.
Can I have 17 light beer? When they said $5, you're like, I said 17.
I said yes.
I said
1
17.
7, not 7 for me.
I said
17.
One of 17 light beers, please.
God, I can't get anything past you.
I'm telling you.
But no, yeah. So I did closed it out each time, and yeah, I gotta be honest, because here's what irritates me about like service industry shit. I go, yeah, that's part of the risk of having this job, is you might get a shit tip, or you might get someone who, like my wife, who fucking, I have to tell her to not tip 50% every time. I go, it's crazy you do that every time.
Yeah.
And like
but when 50% is, if it's a $5 beer, if you're tipping $2.50 each time, it's not the craziest.
no, she'll do it when we go to like expensive restaurants.
Oh,
I
yeah,
go,
fuck
stop doing that.
Yeah.
But
already
yeah, no,
costs too
that irritates me, because
Yeah.
it's like that was the balance of the world. You're going in, like, you're choosing this job because you want to have a non-traditional job, you want to smoke weed, you want to like sleep in and all. It was just completely fine.
Yeah.
But like having the 20% built into the thing really bugged me.
Yeah, it's real Red Lobster energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like this weird thing of like, and you have a party of 6 or more, well, we're going to add an 18% gratuity. And it's like, we're not going to tell you. Or like, it sounds so shitty. I've had my opinions on tipping and that all that shit my entire life, and it's never necessarily. It's always the shitty cheapo shit that people probably hate, of the like, kind of, you gotta kind of earn it a little bit. Like, you can't. I'm not. It shouldn't just be assumed. But also, I don't go out to dinner unless I have enough money to tip.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing of like, I have to
And
be
that's
prepared.
an
I have to
adult-
be prepared to have good service.
That's also,
Like,
too, a very adult, mature trade-off where you go, I know how I am about tipping. I know
Right.
I'm a little stricter than most. Also, I don't go out as often because of that.
But if I have service that I appreciate, or I get, like, if I know the people, or if there's some kind of other consideration, I'm not against giving a good tip. But when I immediately it's like my opinion completely shifts when somebody feels entitled to it.
Yeah.
When it's this thing of like, I've had people bitch about like, dude, this is the best scenario I can think of, especially considering shitty light beer.
Yeah.
There is a bar, I think it was the Emerald, but I can't, no, it might have been, yeah, I think it was the Emerald in downtown St. Pete. There was a bar that on certain nights, one night it would have, I think it was $2 Bush drafts.
Damn, I didn't know Heaven was in St. Pete's.
Do you know what I'm saying? $2 Bush drafts, right?
There's a bar here that's like that, by the way.
We go there, and legitimately, it's solo cup,
Sick.
Bush beer from the tap, boom, $2. And first beer I get, I tip 50%.
Yeah.
I give them $3.
Yeah.
Next time,
It's kind of standard, like in that situation.
Next time, I don't think I tipped. But also, like, I just to give you context, I'm paying mostly in change a lot of the time. It's $2 Bush draft night.
Well, that was the thing too. It's like,
What do you expect?
You set up the night to attract trash.
The third time I went up, I tipped again. I think like 50 cents or something like that. Because
Yeah.
again, I'm paying in change.
Yeah.
So
Wait. How much change did you bring to this bar?
like it was like a Ziploc bag. It wasn't like crazy, and it was mostly quarters. It wasn't like pennies and shit. I'm not a dickhead. And it's $2. It's $2 Bush Night. Like if I'm paying for a $7 or $8 beer with change, I'm a dick. If I'm paying $2 Bush, like I'm not homeless, but Jesus Christ, I might as well be. So like I'm drinking these beers. Third time I tip 50 cents. Fourth time I went up to get another beer, and the lady like looks over at me and kind of like just looks back, and I'm like, and then like she like served a couple people closer to her, and then and I was just like,
yeah.
beer, hello.
Yeah.
She comes over and she goes, "You gonna tip this time?"
You're like, I tipped every time.
And I go,
oh, no, you skipped the second.
but I'm like, I've tipped you.
Yeah.
I've gotten $6 worth of beers.
Yeah.
I've tipped you roughly $2 already.
Yeah. And then also, too, like with
What do you want from me?
Because I also experienced, because
I don't like Bush.
I never get like mixed drinks or anything like that. I'm getting beer like maybe a shot occasionally.
Right.
And it's like, it'd be one thing if I'm getting mixed drinks the whole time. You got to do your little concoction and shit. And it's like, don't get me wrong. I'm going to give you a tip every time. But when like that level of entitlement comes in, it's like,
when she's like yelling at me.
yeah, it's like the level of entitlement is actually so fucking irritating because it's like, all right. Let's like break this down. Like when I need a can of beer, you're going.
No. And that's what I'm saying. It's like she legitimately also where I was sitting, I'm sitting right next to the tap.
Yeah.
So like you're here.
Yeah.
You do this, and I'm tipping you.
Yeah.
I am tipping you, lady. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's like,
Dude, I was like, I was so fucking pissed off.
Was it a dive bar?
Yeah.
And dude, the old lady at the dive bar gets like a real sense of entitlement.
But it's like, but you are advertising super shit cheap beer night. And you're not even going to do dishes. You're not even doing dishes, you dickhead.
You're just
throwing these
the
cups
cup
away.
out. Dude, that happened.
You're reusing my cup even.
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, and you're reusing the cup.
This is a step up
The
from a
fuck's
keg
the
party.
attitude for it, dickhead?
This is all tips.
That happened at I was going to hang out with my buddy Pat number 1. I was going to hang out with Pat and my buddy Kyle, where they live out in sort of like out there, Lancaster, PA.
Yeah.
And we went to like, you know, those bars you'd go to in PA where it would have like it would half look like just a house. And then it would have the whole front porch, and then you'd walk in, you'd see the cigarette machine. You're like, hell yeah, cool bar.
Yeah.
And then I remember we went to that
Front
one.
porch on a bar is underrated because that means
That's good cigarette smoking.
yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? That's
front porch on a front.
not a patio. A front
No.
porch.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
A front porch on a bar
I ain't here for brunch.
is great.
I'm here to rip cigs and fucking drink $2 draft Bush.
I'm here to rip cigs and choke on my light beer. No, and there was this old lady at the bar, maybe not old, just older. Nah, old lady. Yeah, there was an old lady working the bar.
Old twat.
Old bitch.
Old
and
bitch ass twat.
she had a tray of Jello shots, and she was like coming around, and then she's like giving me an attitude, and then she tries to do that. She has this deal where if you want Jello shots, if it works out that if you buy the whole tray, it's super cheap.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, first off, if you're selling a whole tray at a time, those are watered down to a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to do the math. If you're selling me a whole tray for a very small amount of money, those are watered down.
Those are too solid to be have any alcohol in them.
And also, I don't want Jello shots. And so she's like giving me.
Not to mention, I don't want these.
I don't want these. And I remember she was like, she kept pestering us. And then she just got like this indignant sense to her, like she was entitled to our money for the. And I'm like, the fuck is happening?
Yeah, you don't. Even if you own this bar, like you're the one that has the open sign. It doesn't. This is not a membership club. I don't have to drink or tip what you want. And not to mention, you're complaining that I'm not tipping you when I'm very obviously tipping you.
Where you lived in St. Pete, was it like a lot of bars?
Yeah, this was downtown St. Pete was there. I mean, but they're not necessarily like it's gotten a lot bougier since then. I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder why they wanted good service and clean establishments. It's probably because all you bitter cunts were treating them like shit in your shit establishments. That place always smelled like piss, smelled like sweat.
There's a lot of.
I saw the Groovy Ghoulies there. Though.
There's a lot of great service workers out there, but it's like there are some because I think it's like I don't know. I don't want to sound like a dick, but because I used to work service jobs and shit like that, and I notice this all the time where I think it's this like coping mechanism where they ignore the fact that like this job fucking sucks ass.
Yeah, this is your fault. You're the reason why I hate my life. And
the reality, it's not me. And the reality of the job, if you're working at a restaurant or a bar, is that you're kind of getting paid to kind of get like butt fucked all day.
Yeah,
and like I've seen this a lot of times with service workers. They try to make it into a bigger thing than it actually is, and it's like no. It's just you have all the alcohol. I want the alcohol. Here's money and a little bit extra. Hand it to me.
Yeah.
It's like you're not.
That's the deal.
Yeah. I'm not here because you're working here, you old bitch.
Yeah. I'm not here because like I want to make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
I just want my fucking Busch. Can you just give me a fucking Busch beer in that goddamn cup and just leave me alone?
Yeah.
Can you leave me alone? I'm paying you in change, you dummy.
Oh, and then it was funny at the. I'm paying you in quarters. Why aren't you happy?
Why are you so stupid?
And there was even this isn't that big of a deal, but there was like a funny part of when I bought the beer from the one guy I kept buying the beer from. He just the tip already worked in. The dude is literally like leaning on the counter, watching whatever football game he wanted to watch on his phone, and he's like
not engaged,
grabbing the beer, opening it, handed it to me, and it's just like it's not a big deal, but you're literally putting in the least amount of effort to this. So the implied tip irks me on a different level.
It automatically takes away the earning of the tip. It takes away the incentive to actually fucking. But this is just the old man speaking. The $2 Busch Night. That's the same, but that's just what that reminded me of. It was this thing of you're gonna have a reasonably priced drink. Cool.
Yeah.
Also, reasonably priced for a $4 tall boys. You can get 6 of those for about $4. Anyway, reasonably priced considering
6 Busch
other
Lights,
places.
6 Busch Lights. Yeah, it's reasonably priced compared to.
But you're doing that, and you're not even like it's. There's something different about going to like a sporting event.
Yeah,
going to like a hockey game and getting a beer from one of those vendors. They have energy. They're beer here, like that shit. Even the ones that are just sitting in the aisles and shit, or the ones that are along the concourse or whatever, the stands. And they'll like fucking open it for you. They do this thing. They talk to you. They say like, "Oh, you're from out of town."
They gotta really earn their tip.
Like, and that's what I'm saying is they don't because they could just add it.
No, there's a lot of
But
bartenders
when
that
you
get this,
do that, if you're also just opening beers, if you're not at least making eye contact or going, I hope you have a really great night, or is there anything else I can do for you? Something like that.
Yeah.
Earn it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That is for. It's the same bullshit I always bring up about fucking Uber Eats or DoorDash or any of those shits. When it's like you have the service fee, the taxes and state fees, the delivery fee, and I'm like, that's the service. The service is the delivery.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're just double dipping. And why? Just tell me the price.
Yeah.
Don't break it up. Don't tell me if the beer is $4, but plus 20%, that's the cost of the beer. That's the beer. That's it. You split it up how you want. Don't tell me anything else. Give me a $6 beer.
Oh, that's an interesting way to put. That would actually be.
Give me a $6 beer, and we'll all be happy.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting way to put it. Where if like a bar could just do 20% out of the gate, so you're just like you could like even trick people and say this is a no tipping bar. These are just the prices, and then at the end of the night, we cash out 20%.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing of like, if you want to give us more money, you don't have to do that at all.
Yeah.
We'll just add 20% to the last. But that's the thing is then you're going to have people that are like, well, fucking, I don't want to tip this guy 20%, blah, blah, blah. But if they don't tell you at all and they just go, here's your receipt, and you're like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Hey, what's your name? Why do you just took my money?
Hey, who are you?
You said that it was cost this much money, and then you charged me this much money. What the fuck happened here? And they're like, well, that's a tip. I'm like, for what? Like, that's why they don't tell you.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
It's crazy, man.
And then another minor incident we could Seinfeld analyze is I went to go smoke a cigarette and lost my lighter, borrowed a lighter, and then like a fucking hawk, some like dude wanted to bum a cigarette, and it annoyed me, but I've asked for so many cigarettes in my life that I just don't even think. I just go, this is karma. This is just karma. So and I go, yeah, fine, dude. And then the second
turned into an anchor.
The second didn't turn into an anchor. The second he sees that, or I do that, the fucking chick he's with slithers out of nowhere and was like, I'm so sorry. Can I also? And I was just like, that was so.
Dude, that's the difference between adding 20% and not. That's the difference between feeling entitled to a tip and not. If two separate people walk up to you and ask you for cigarettes, it's about the timing.
Yeah, and you can't.
It's about the timing. It's about the thing of like, hey man, by the way, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I want to say it's not the woman's fault for once. This time, it is legitimately that guy being a shitty lover. A shitty, sharing, loving human spouse.
Yeah.
Because he goes, ooh, I got my cigarette. This is awesome. And never went, oh, the person I'm inside most nights. Would you like some?
Yeah. No, that's what you do as
and then
you've
give
already
you the opportunity to go, oh, I'm sorry, madam. Would you like a cigarette as well? Which I'm sure you probably would have done.
What?
Offer, like if you saw them sharing a cigarette, you probably would have been like, oh, do you want one? Like if she walked over.
No, not at all. No, I'm not.
Gives you the opportunity.
Well, I didn't even think about it from that angle. Shout out, Derek.
You are absolutely not an idiot. It is us. We've been doing that for 3 hours.
No, and also the other. Well, yeah, I didn't even think about that angle where it's like, now I don't know for sure if they're lovers, but they were together that night.
Okay, we would share a cigarette, right?
What?
Do you think you would share a cigarette if I asked you for a drag of a cigarette?
Oh, 100. I mean, me and Lemaire do it all the fucking time.
We are not lovers yet.
Yeah, I mean, we do
love each other.
I usually just ask him to blow smoke into my mouth, but
right. Yeah, we shotgun it.
Yeah,
I could offer that to somebody. It was Jibs. He didn't want to share weed pipes with anybody.
Yeah,
or anything, or like.
It's like I don't want to
squeeze
give
or anything.
anyone my herpes.
Well, I wasn't gonna say that part. I didn't know if that that was out there.
I
or
mean,
not.
Jibs is a very known slut.
Well, when that was the case, I was like,
It's what he's known for in the comedy
I
world.
started laughing halfway through saying it. I go, do you want me to shotgun this in your mouth? I'm like, that's gayer than how you got herpes.
Like, Jibs, are you a 13-year-old gay boy?
Hey, do you want to play Truth or Dare?
Here, let's do it while I pull out my Ouija board,
I'm like,
Jibs.
let me just light this joint and then I'll just go into your mouth.
Hey,
do you want me to breathe?
Jibs, that's gayer than if we made out.
No, I offered it to him.
That's so funny.
And that's what I was like, that's the solution to you not having to share.
Oh, and also, was he like coyly, like very coy, trying to get you to do that?
No, I offered it. Like he was like, oh, no. Because I was like, hey, you want some? And he's like, not to be weird or anything, but do you just have some I could have? Which I thought was funny at first because I was just like, that's a weird thing.
Oh, can you just give me weed?
Can you just have some of your weed?
It's
And I
so
was just
funny.
like, but then he told me why, and I was like, I would gladly pay that price so I wouldn't
It's so funny.
get herpes again. Again, I just got rid of it.
Oh, but the other part that annoyed me about the girl is like my rule on cigarettes is, and I have not been perfect with this in my history, so it's another reason why I accept the karma. But like my rule on cigarettes is if you just watch someone bum a cigarette,
Give it.
there is now. I feel like there's now like an hour where you can't bum another cigarette from that person.
I don't know about an hour. I
don't know.
Okay, so
but think about that. Imagine if
when I was a smoking boy, when I smoked.
still pre-smoking.
Thank you.
Anytime, baby.
When I was younger, my smoking days.
I'm gonna pull this shade down because it's dark
not
out
even
and it's
doing
creepy to me having
Yeah.
it open.
But so, oh, that's cool. I thought you were just gorillaing that.
Yeah, shades here are actually kind of
Pull
cool.
it down. But so like what I would do is when and it's kind of how I do like kind of everything. A lot of people say I'm a little too formal in my comedy requests when I ask for sets or stuff like that. I'll go like, but that's me. You know me. It's just weird, kind of informally formal. Like, hey, my dude, can I have a set sometime this week? If not, it's totally understandable.
Yeah.
I want to let you know there's no pressure, but if you have anything, I'm happy to do something.
Yeah,
But
that's also not the worst thing in the world. A lot of people,
Right.
I think that's what I learned deeper into comedy. A lot more people ask for things than you realize.
yeah, I'm going back and forth with it. But
You gotta like feel it every time. You gotta feel it out because there's certain things where you're asking for too much, and then there's certain things where it's not a big deal.
if I'm not that first guy, if I'm not the first one to ask for the cigarette, I was the guy that goes, and usually this is how I would start anyway. I'd be like, hey, can I give you 50 cents for a cigarette? Can I give you $1 for a cigarette? Like,
yeah.
offer it and at least give you the chance. And if I just saw somebody bum a cigarette, that's unfortunately my approach. That's what I have to do now to be like, hey man, can I give you 50 cents?
That's also too.
This is going to help you buy another pack of cigarettes.
Like if I see Lemaire, like me and Lemaire have a rapport. Like I mean, if we're hanging out and he doesn't have cigs, he can have half my pack. Like
Right.
it's just because I know he'll give me half his pack
Right.
if we're just hanging out.
Right,
like
right.
me and him have that rapport. But if it's a new person, that's the customary asking for a cig. You know 99% of people aren't going to make you give them $1. But you say, hey, can I buy a cigarette off you? And then they say no, and then you get a cigarette. That's like customary.
Right.
And then if you just saw someone get a cigarette,
yeah.
you got to go to a different person. You got to let like a good... Because you got to think about it like... I feel like every cigarette smoker, you get 20 in a pack, and you just have to accept you're not smoking at least 5 of them.
Yeah.
You're not going to smoke 5 of them. You're going to give them to someone else. And I think if you're a pack a night and you do the math, I think the like hour reset is fair.
Yeah, I guess. Hour seems drastic though, but I can see what you're
Can you
talking
imagine
about.
if like every 30 minutes someone's asking you for a cig? I don't know.
I don't know. I think of it as a thing where I don't want to be over presumptuous or anything like that. Like I don't want to be that, but that's just me in particular. Like I know I'm not the norm in that sense, but that's me. If I'm sometimes the first guy asking for a cigarette, I would ask. I would be pissed if I offered you money for a cigarette, being the first person that asked, you accepted it, and then gave one for free to her.
Yeah, that would suck.
Because then I would definitely say something at that point. I'd be like, hey, give him $1.
Yeah.
Like,
excuse
that's
me,
how
ma'am.
this works.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
These cost $1.
Yeah, what are you doing? Bitch, I just set the fucking price.
Yeah.
I just set the price. So, like, if he's saying, oh, these are free, come on in, come get some. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. That's rude.
Yeah. And
That is very rude.
It also, too, is like when I've been married for 6 years. I've been with my girl for like over 10. You just notice these things girls do where you're just like, yeah, bitch, I mean, don't get it twisted. I gave her a cigarette. But you're just like in your head, you're like, yeah, I'm 34. Like, you're a fucking child. Like, this is not.
But
You
it has
hate
to be with that same thing, though. You need to carry on this tradition.
Yeah.
So when you have cigarettes, you
That's
need
so
to give up
funny.
your cigarettes. Like, that's the thing. If you ever deny somebody a cigarette, bitch,
Yeah.
you will be cursed for the rest of your
And also,
days.
if you only smoke cigs when you're drunk, be more mindful of people who actually like buy that shit. Because they view
Yeah.
it from their standpoint of like, I don't ever buy these, so it's like not a big deal. But it's just like, yeah, no, it's just like a fucking annoying. Like by the end of, I don't know. Now I'm turning into one of those jobs where it's like if you leave 2 minutes early, by the end of the week you stole $5 from the company.
But there's a thing where if you're the lady, and this, again, like you said, it's usually a lady, and it's usually a fucking hippie. I've talked about this bitch plenty of times. Her name's Jamie. She used to hang out at all my brother's parties. She's some stupid hippie that never contributed anything. Nobody ever noticed it. Maybe it was because they were trying to fuck her or something. I was very turned off by her personality.
Yeah.
So even though she was a pretty girl, I was like, I don't like this person. This
Yeah.
person sucks
Yeah.
so much. And she'd always think I was joking. She'd be like, oh, little Pat. And like I remember just going like, she asked me for something, and I go, no.
Yeah.
You can't have any of my beers, Jamie.
Yeah, oblivious girls are some of the worst.
And she's just like, but then they just go on to the next. They just
Yeah.
go, oh, can I have one of you? You got one of my Michelobs. And then it's, why is that guy being such a dick? It's because this lady does nothing to contribute.
Yeah, you're
and
like-
always comes to parties empty-handed.
Like these
That's a bad
cost
fucking
money.
yeah. I noticed at a young age I could not buy alcohol, so a lot of times the party I was going to was the alcohol was purchased by somebody.
Yeah.
So anytime I got a chance to kick in money, I would kick in money.
Dude,
because
and
it's
also-
like I don't contribute a lot.
And also, you're gonna get more bang for your buck. You're literally just like especially like back in the day when you just had like like now you can Venmo people.
Right.
And
There's
I'm
no
like,
excuse really. At
Dude,
this
it's
point.
easy. Just be like, yo, can I throw you a couple bucks? Like you probably send them $5 and you're probably drinking $20 worth of beer.
Like I would just say, if I was a smoker and we were at the creek and we're sitting there playing cards or something like that,
yeah.
and I know you just open a pack of cigarettes, I might even pull out a pack, like a $5 bill, and go, hey man, I'm gonna be bumming cigarettes off you tonight. I'm really sorry.
No,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
I mean,
and like that's just me being like, hey, I know these things are fucking expensive. Trust me.
dude, literally
and
I mean, like most cigarettes are like $10 now. American spirits are like 12 or 13.
Or just go to the fucking vending machine.
If
and
you
just buy
handed
a
me
$12 pack or something.
If you handed me $5, I'd be like, I would just like, because like that's also just such that's something no one does. If you just hand me $5, to be like, oh yeah, you get all the cigs you want tonight.
right, like it's just one of those things because it's a courtesy of like I'm inconveniencing you.
Yeah.
So I appreciate and also it's kind of it would be out of character for me to show up and not have like if I know I'm going out to smoke or drink or if I'm going out drinking and I know I'm going to smoke, I would buy a cigarette. And also, like you said, I open this. This is not going to be here in the morning, or I might have one for the morning.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because either I'm smoking them all, or we are all smoking them all.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, it's a community thing. It's a very much. There's a code. It is.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like a golden rule kind of thing, or like a social contract, but there literally is an unwritten rule of have the respect of realizing cigarettes are not cheap, and if you see, that's the thing, it's a morality game. You always borrow and very rarely contribute.
Yeah.
We can only assume that. But like, if you just met me or we don't even know each other, and you're already overextending my generosity, like, I find you not only a questionable person, but I might have just been like, no.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, that was my second to last one.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'm sure he'd be willing to share with you.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I do have wet dreams of being that guy, but I don't. It's just so awkward in that moment that I'm just like.
It's just easier to give the cigarette.
It's just fine, but I think it's just I feel like regular smokers know this. It's the people who like. They're like, I don't smoke cigarettes, and then the second they drink, they're like, I need cigarettes.
I smoked for 11 years, and anytime I had somebody buy me cigarettes, I would even usually go like, because again, I was underage.
Yeah.
I would go like, keep the change.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a pack. Or like,
dude.
stuff like that. Like, because it's like one of those things of like, you could go to jail.
Dude, that happened to me. That's another thing. Kids?
Yeah, what if she was like 16?
Bro, if I was...
isn't it 21 now? Didn't they change it to 21?
You might be right.
That's crazy.
When,
but she was 20. You're
When I was in college, I was one of the first in my friend group who turned 21. So I had these friends who were like 19 and 20, and I got a bunch of us beer and shit. And I forget exactly how it cost, but let's just say it was like $40, and they gave me $50, and then I gave them the beer back or whatever they got. I gave them what they got, and then they were like, "Where's my change?" And I was like, "It's in my pocket."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's what you paid for because you're 19."
Right.
Yeah. It's that thing where it's like
21. Yeah.
It's 21 now.
Yeah.
No shit. I didn't
Both
know that.
Texas and federal law require. Well, I didn't ask for Texas. Don't know that. Don't know that I'm asking in Texas. Don't know that.
Yeah. But no, it is that thing where people are just like, you gotta be more mindful of all the extra shit involved. It's like, don't be a fucking...
There's exceptions for members of the military who are 18.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Thanks.
Our country's not completely lost.
Wow. That's so nice of you.
So let's finish this out because I haven't even talked about the band. But no, it was very funny. The two notable things is so I've been a fan of this band since like high school. And Enter Shikari's been pumping out music pretty steadily since then. Like, I can't imagine they've gone like 3 years without a new album.
Yeah.
They may have had a longer spurt once or twice, but it was like, they've been pretty consistent with new albums ever since high school. And they're one of my favorite bands, but truthfully, I sort of haven't been as hardcore into the later shit. And it really shifted my live experience.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I very quickly into the show, I was like, okay, they'll play a lot of the older shit soon. And it hit me, and I was like, the show's almost over. And they played a lot of the newer shit.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I was like, this is the first time I had that, where I was like, I fucking love this band. Like, like, back in the day, I'd drive 3 hours to go see this band. And now I'm sitting there realizing, like, oh, it's just not hitting the same because like I'm getting older and I was like connected to this band at a different time.
Yeah.
But it is funny how like you hear the new stuff and you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then you hear the old stuff and it just fucking, because it reminds you of high school and college and it just turns this thing on to you. And then this other thing I wanted to bring up, it actually correlates into another thing I noticed where that's where I realized like hardcore is such a better live experience. Because it's like, I went to go see Enter Shikari. They fucking ruled. When they played the old stuff, I fucking got up. I was singing every word. I was all hyped. And when they played the new stuff, I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. Oh, I didn't hear this song before. This is a good song. But when we went to go see Speed, I mean, I know their music, but I don't like know it.
Yeah.
Every song we're going fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Every song we're going bananas. It was like there were 2 times where I go, oh yeah, that's that song. I don't know the fucking name of it though.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, that's crazy to think about. And then in addition to that, I mean, this is a message to people who don't go to hardcore shows. you don't have to do pits because once you, this is going to sound super elitist and cunty, but once you go do a pit at a hardcore show, pits really suck ass everywhere else.
Yeah.
Dude, because they had no...
I had no idea what to do at the Lola Young show. Like, I was like, I know I like this song, but I'm like, I'm not going to dance.
Dude, it's honestly like hardcore is like fucked with my way of viewing music live where you go, what do I do?
I want to push somebody.
I might as well just black out because I don't know what else to do now.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with... I did not know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I was like, do I put them in my... Like, I'm not swinging them. I don't, like... Do I punch her? Is that a hate crime?
But it was funny, too, because it's like... I've talked about this before. Like, I'm not a tough guy looking for fights. I mean, there's a lot of situations where there's probably a dude who knows how to fight better, who knows how to fight better than me and shit like that. But, dude, my confidence in like standing on the edge of the Enter Shikari pit, like I had a,
Yeah.
dude, I had
You didn't
a,
even have your hands out, probably. You probably didn't even have your arms crossed.
no, not even.
It's like, I can monitor all of
Well,
this.
dude, I had a wanting to fight thing that popped up into me that I haven't felt very often. It was so funny because they start doing this thing. So Enter Shikari, you know how like bands do the fucking thing where they stop playing and then they're like, oh, we're gonna do an encore, and they just like stop playing.
Walk off.
Yeah. They had a clever little thing because their live setup was really cool. Where they had these like 4 LED boards and they were synchronized to the songs and yada yada yada. And they were doing this thing based off their one album called The Dreamers Hotel, where so they walk off. They go, thank you for your stay at the Dreamers Hotel. If you'd like to extend your stay by 10 minutes, everyone scream, fuck yeah. And then, that's how, that's what gets them back. It was a fun little dumb thing. That's what gets them back on stage.
I like the Aquabats. I like gimmicks. I like things.
Yeah. It was so cool. It was done really well. It was sick. And so they come back, they play a couple more songs, but so they come back and if you guys haven't heard Enter Shikari, they're like a heavy synth band. So they have this whole synth thing coming up, and then you see the people who think they're like running the pit, and the guy's like, let's fucking go, let's start a circle pit. And I'm saying they're like, well, I know the song that's coming up and they're not playing a fast beat, so why would you do a circle pit right now?
Oh, the guy said that, not the band?
No, one of the guy in the pit was like, and you're like, yeah, no, they're gonna do a synth build up.
We don't work for you.
Yeah, they're gonna do a synth build up to a halftime part. Why would you do a circle pit right here? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And so they start running in a circle, and I feel one on my arm, which is fine. And then the same guy comes around, I feel another bam, and I go, he's doing that on purpose. And dude, I've never had a thought like this. Literally, the second one happens, he's like, if he does that a third time, I'm swinging on him. Because dude, I'm watching these people. I'm not afraid of one person in this crowd.
Right.
And literally, I had the thought, I was like, he does that a third time, I'm fucking swinging on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, or not even swinging on him, but bare minimum, because I saw him come around again.
Clothesline.
I saw him come around again, and I pull back. And I start to do this, and then he just goes by. But I was ready. The second he did it again, I was just going to go, woof, and fucking knock his bitch ass over. Because I was like, no, I've been to...
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking tough guy, but
That's
it's
not
like...
how this works.
But it's like, dude, I've been to Tsunami shows. I've been to Kublai, I've been to fucking Speed. I was like, I can take all your head offs in 5 seconds.
I've been to the shit.
I've been to war, motherfucker. But yeah, it was just like I was getting so pretentious and condescending in my head, where it's like, oh, you guys are having fun in your little fucking dancing circle.
Yeah, it's kind of. I've thought of that a couple times of like, if it's not a full circle pit, if 3 or 4 people are going, let's start a circle pit, that means either take it way in, or no.
Yeah.
Like and like you said, I know the song they're playing. This is not appropriate right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things of like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, if the band's not...
Even Lemaire knows the perfect time to start pits. Like even Lemaire has gotten...
It's just like instinctual.
Pit etiquette. We are very good teachers, by the way.
Yeah.
We've done a good job of pit etiquette.
I'm so proud of him.
He's fearless.
Every time I see him...
He's not fearless. It's you know what's nice is he does still have a very healthy fear of the pit, and that's
which you should.
You should.
Yeah. That's the thing. You need to respect the pit.
That's
if you
how
don't
you have the
respect
most
pit,
fun. It's a
you
discipline.
get knocked out.
It's a discipline.
Yeah, you gotta be disciplined.
Yeah, if you're not disciplined, you're gonna get hurt in the pit, and nobody's gonna want to help you.
But yeah, it made me realize, I was like, dude, if the band's not playing a breakdown, just because
Like you said at ICP, you overdid it big time. There's multiple times where you're like hyping up the same way you would. Like,
Yeah, but I caught myself and chilled the fuck out.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is like you have to match the energy of like there's going to be very few pits in our life now that are going to, because that's the thing we've talked about. I've said it a million times, like where I'm like, I want to go to like those, like a show where I think the guy from Dillinger's going to jump on my head.
Yeah.
I want like the chariot guy jumping off the cabinet into the crowd. Like I want the danger, and you really do only get that at hardcore or metal shows.
It's crazy. Like
some metal shows, even,
hardcore, unless you go to that one fucking German show and that dickhead in what's the jacket called? Like in his fucking battle vest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that video that made me want.
The one where he yelled at somebody for
That made me want to crowd kill him so hard. Yeah. I was like, what are you doing?
You don't dictate this.
You don't get to tell them what to do. You overpower them.
Yeah.
If someone's in the pit not doing what you want, you overpower them.
Right. You gain control of the pit.
But that's like what the fun is. It's almost like a fucking a pit. Almost feels like a king of the hill sometimes.
It is a self cleaning organism.
It's like a vagina.
Yeah, it's continuously always like evolving, and it's growing, and it is its own like separate organism.
Yeah,
nobody dictates the pit necessarily.
Yeah,
it is its own thing.
Ecosystem.
Like, and when you know that, like, it's not that you know more. It's not that you can control it anymore.
Yeah.
You can as physically, like you can do that, but like, it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
You know what's right. And that's the important thing is you know when to use the power or when not to use the power. Because that's the thing is like at any point for any show, Sugar Ray, you could be doing a fucking circle pit. It's weird, and it would just turn into a bunch of people like those old Ramones ones where they're all like pogo hopping and shit like that and jumping up and down. But it's still a pit.
Pogo hopping?
The thing where they like bounce up and down, like
okay.
Like
I know what you mean.
The bullshit where you're just like, okay, but that was appropriate at the time.
And the other thing I realized too, because you were kind of hitting
it was the style at the time.
You were kind of hitting at it earlier, but it is like the hardcore show live experience is so much better, generally speaking, as a fan to get
full
involved.
Experience.
That it has really like ruined me for other genres of music. And the last thing I'll say too is like
that's pretty funny.
What's going on
Derek
down there?
says, I used to destroy in punk pits. Then I would go to metal or hardcore shows and get my shit kicked in.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of those things. It's like there's levels to it.
Yeah.
Like a Pennywise pit, I was terrified of it at my first show.
Yeah.
And it was a Pennywise show, and I still got in the pit.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things of like, once you kind of get reassurance or like that kind of the feel of it.
Well, it's also too.
You put
it's
your
like,
hand in there, and you just
as a kid listening to like punk and heavy music, it's like it's like what's the fucking expression? It feels like a rite of passage.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Is like it's one of those things of like that's gonna continue to happen. It's gonna happen whether I'm in it or not.
Yeah,
I really feel like I want to be in it.
Yeah.
So like I gotta fight the fear.
Yeah.
And do it, and it's really that's what it is. I still get nervous sometimes. I'm a fucking 38-year-old man,
bro.
I don't want to go. I'm going. My back hurts from standing still at a show for too long,
dude.
If I go in there and I'm roughing it up, it's because I have to. I feel like I have to. I feel that uncontrollable urge.
You're just like, it's too good right now. I have to go in there.
This is gonna add to the experience, and it fucking does.
That's why I hate seeing those videos of people like practicing at home, and you're going, no, it's like you don't have to learn how to two-step. You just hear the music, and that's what makes sense to do.
And you can either do it or you can't. Like
I
said, like how many times did I end up just skipping when I was trying to skank?
Yeah.
I can't skank, but I can circle pit.
Yeah.
So at the fast parts, I'll jump in. For the other parts, for Johnny Quest thinks we're sellouts, I'll just kind of hang off to the side.
And the last thing I'll say is like, I hate. It's also like irritating when they open up a pit and then it's like 6 people just kind of
too big, yeah,
like pushing each other.
Yeah, too big.
And it's like at that point, just just move the crowd.
You don't get the benefit of the size of a hardcore pit. Now, if that's a hardcore show, perfectly acceptable because you need a little bit of elbow room, and knee and foot room.
Yeah.
So, but you don't get that same thing if you're just delicate little flowers just kind of pushing, and not even in a circle. If you're just going, if you made a circle pit is very distinct. A circle pit is almost like a hurricane. It was invented in Florida, everyone. The circle pit, whether you like it or not. Yes, the circle pit, as we know it now, the rotation, the center, it's a hurricane.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a storm. So what it is it's just a bunch of people pushing like crazy, but in a direction.
Yeah.
So
although you remember that video you sent me recently, dude, the massive circle pit does annoy me because I go, you're just making me do a turkey trot.
Yeah, we're just running.
Like
you end up tripping a lot more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like
especially
that's why,
at like a festival where you're on grass and the ground's uneven.
Or if it's uneven. Yeah. So like there's stuff like that, but like the perfect circle pit is where that's the motion of it, but there's chaos in that motion. So it goes this way, this. Like it's kind of, but it's moving like this.
Because at the speed show, because like the circle pit, this is like the room we're in is like a standard like side bedroom that like you'd put your kid in or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the speed pit was about this size, and like when it's that big, people get moving because they don't get tired. And then the best part is when you don't want to be. I was doing this. This is my move. Is like I don't want to be in the circle pit, so I see people and I just help them go faster.
Yeah.
That's my move.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's one of those things. It's reactionary. If they push into you, you push. If they push into you, you push. You kind of just push whatever the opposite direction you're getting pushed. It's very simple. And it is, again, you don't choose that direction. It just happens naturally. It's a churn. It's like a churning of the crowd.
Yeah.
That's the perfect circle pit.
Yeah.
The running in a circle is just it's very impressive looking. It looks cool.
Yeah.
But you're not really doing anything. It's
Actually, I saw a musician I like, the guitarist of Harm's Way. He has that podcast I tell you about all the time, Hard Lore, that I love to listen to.
Yeah.
And he said he had such a funny opinion where he was like, this might be a hot take, where he's like, I don't like push pits. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, I don't like push pits, but I got to tell you, they look so, like a big ass one at a festival. He goes, they look real cool from the stage.
Yeah.
But like the push pits where like you open up the pit and a couple people push each other, at that point, it's just like, no, just be in the crowd and everyone move.
Yeah.
Because that would be all the time when I would go see bands in high school that were like, whatever you'd want to call them, post-hardcore or like the emo and punk adjacent bands where you like a band like Thursday or later Taking Back Sunday, when you can't put the specific genre, but you're like, they're in this department. I remember going to see Thursday and like a song would be done and next thing you'd realize you're like, oh, I'm like 10 feet forward.
Yeah.
Because like everyone's, and like it was hectic and like you got hurt, but it was kind of fun.
Right.
You didn't need to open up a pit and have a couple people just go like,
it's a physical representation of
reacting
music.
to the music.
Yeah. And that's what it truly is. It's not supposed to be. It is the truest form, if I may, of interpretive dance. It really is actual interpretation. I'm not thinking of anything I'm doing. I'm not actually thinking. I think, okay, push, 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 push. Stay on your feet. Push, push, push. Like that's not. You're not thinking of like specific moves, and that's why I feel like that's a little bit more my love than like a hardcore pit. Just because I'll just go into a hardcore pit and just push those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. You're gonna try to punch me. I'm gonna try to push you down.
Yeah.
Like it's like, but it works.
Yeah.
It's chaos. It's kind of that thing. And again, in the same mode, you push somebody down. Somebody falls down. You help them up.
Pick them up.
That's the thing. It's
that's
like
my
nobody's
favorite.
in danger, but everybody is putting their life at risk.
Yeah.
You're not in immediate danger because nobody's actually, unless you're being a fucking hot dog or a piece of shit, nobody actually wants to hurt you.
And you get neutralized. Yeah. No, that is the whole crowd pushing is sort of just like you said, it's like the reaction to the music, because if you think about it, you know, you're not thinking. You hear the song you really like, everyone starts jumping, everyone starts moving, you run into a guy, his movement pushes you back, and so it's like there's no thought. It's the same thing with like a good hardcore pit. It's like there's no like overthinking about it.
Yeah.
You're just responding to the music. So that's why That's why shit like that is more optimal than just like the people who try to like overthink a good time. It's like you shouldn't have if like I don't know, like when I'm going in for a good time like that, I'm not sitting there trying to think about it. I'm standing there and whatever happened, whatever like my body tells me what to do, I'm gonna go fucking do it. So if I'm like, this is a pretty good song, I'm not gonna like force a hardcore dance. But if I go, this song fucking hits me the right way, I'm gonna push a guy and start two-stepping.
Yeah. Somebody's going down.
Yeah. All right, we did the damn thing.
We did it.
Lots of podcasting.
Thanks for sticking around. Derek, sorry you came in late, but we did research.
Yeah. You're gonna if you missed the
like No More
you're gonna
Heroes.
like the Roswell episode, Derek. Go check that out.
Man, oh man.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. Just a reminder, and I'll try to space these out better next time because I think I was doing a lot of content dumping. But Real Friends, Touche Amore review. I got the album suggestions and also the DTL R&R channel if you want to watch me listen to some music. Love y'all. Have a good one. Be about it. Peace.
So